moment, I think most of America really starts to tune into this sort of thing.
All right, Garrett, don't go anywhere and jump in if we head in the wrong direction in terms of what you're hearing from the voters. I want to bring Karina in, though. You're nodding at a lot of this.
Oh, yeah. I think Garrett brought some salient points to the conversation, which is that, voters want to see the candidate on the stump. They want to be able to ask him questions. We're talking, he's in Houston, Texas today, but we're talking about the 4 early states who are used to being able to have direct access to the presidential candidates, and he cannot run a general election campaign, right? He cannot do that. He needs to be out there on the stump, taking questions, putting out policies. I'm glad he's putting out an education policy today, but he needs to do that. His campaign needs to put him out more, not less.
And is that something they're inclined to do?
Well, I would hope so. And I would say this. I mean, yes, he's a known entity. Yes, he is the Joe Biden that everyone has seen for decades on the national stage. But as a presidential candidate, he's been a monumental failure. I mean, he has run extremely unsuccessfully twice in 1987, didn't even make it to 1988, and in 2008. Barely got to, I don't think he even got to New Hampshire in either case. And so, yeah, he has a lot of work to do. And I will also say this. I was in New Hampshire a few weeks ago. He didn't do a town meeting per se, but he did do one event at a pizza place where he took questions. And there was also a house party where he took questions. He looked out of practice. I talked to a lot of voters afterwards. He rambled quite a bit. He went from here to here to here, which is a Biden phenomena. And it's not necessarily one that is winning if he doesn't correct this.
All I would say is, whoever wins will be running against Donald Trump, who can't go on a foreign trip and stay off his phone where he tweets from topic to topic. I mean,
no doubt.
Do you think, though, that he's being held? I mean, this is something that I observe in sort of talking to Democrats, talking to Republicans. I think the Democrats are going to hold their eventual nominee to a different standard than Republicans hold Trump to.
They might be, but at the same time, the notion that Joe Biden is a safe pick for Democrats goes to the assumption that this is going to come down to the lesser of two septuagenarian, undisciplined, I wouldn't say evils, but people essentially. You have an incumbent and someone who is a de facto incumbent on the other side. So, again, there is a let's play it safe sensibility that I think governs a lot of his early success in the polls.
Well, but he has had early success in the polls.
I mean, way ahead in the polls. I mean,
so,
he's way ahead.
Well, everybody, began to say, well, he needs to get out there more and he needs to do this and that. He kept rising in the polls. Yeah. So if I'm running the Biden campaign, I'm saying, I think I'm doing okay right now. And so, yes, he's got to start doing town halls, and he'll do the first one today, and we'll see how he does. He'll be Joe Biden. And I don't know that you can compare the sort of disorganized loose ends quality of Joe Biden versus the utter chaos of Donald Trump. I think there's a contrast there, and I think it's a pretty pronounced contrast, but we'll see.
Karina.